The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Francesca Brown, and welcome to the show. Crime in the Bahamas is out of control. There's just no other way to say it. And I'm not talking about small-time trouble. We're talking about brazen shootings in broad daylight, teenagers allegedly riding around with high-powered weapons, and entire communities living in fear. This weekend was another grim reminder. A shooting on Robinson Road and Market Street left 2 men dead, 5 others wounded. Hours later, another man killed off of Nassau Street. And then police say teenage boys, 3 of them, led them on a high-speed chase, allegedly before opening fire on them with a high-powered weapon. Our murder count now stands at 55, and we are only in August. Well, Eyewitness News followed up on that brazen daylight shooting today. Let's take a look at that.
CCTV footage detailing exactly what transpired during the mass shooting Saturday afternoon, leaving 2 dead and 5 others injured. A dark-colored cube pulls up with 2 individuals exiting the vehicle with what appears to be high-powered weapons, raining bullets on those nearby in a red Swift. In the short seconds that the incident occurred, the gunmen sped off, and those left standing ran in alternative directions for help. The scene leaving behind questions as investigators suggest that it could be gang-related. The grim situation reigniting fears in those who reside in the area. For one woman who wished to remain anonymous, the day was supposed to be one of celebration of a wedding taking place just feet away when tragedy struck. She works in the area and has also been a part of the neighboring Christian Tabernacle Church. She says, given the recent events, she no longer feels safe.
People doesn't care anymore. They just want what they want. There's a spirit of everybody want to get back. You know, you shoot me, I shoot you, or I will get somebody closer to you. You know, close to you to get my revenge. And even if I see you, I'm going to get you still. You know, so I really feel like we need to do a lot more praying in this country.
One resident of the area, who is visually and hearing impaired, also sharing that they were shaken up after the ordeal.
I heard the gunshot, right? And so when I heard that, I try to get low. I try to say, boy, I get there scared, you know. So when it over with, I try to call a neighbor to find out what's going on. So they tell me what's going on. We never have no really crime like that. That's the first time for a long time.
Meanwhile, footage also going viral on social media of the victims driving in a vehicle purportedly moments before the shooting. All of them young men under the age of 21. One is seen holding a lighter and the other one making gun motions as the third appears to be smoking in the front seat. Pastor at Christian Tabernacle, Vogel Griffin, feels strongly about ensuring that more investment is placed in our nation's youth, especially men, to keep them away from a life of crime.
I think for the most part, if we can get an understanding of where the crime is rooted, like in other words, what's going on with the young men, it's so broad, it can come from various reasons. And if we have that root, maybe we could deal with it. People do crimes, I mean, there are all sorts of crimes, and they can do it for various reasons, like trying to support a home, trying to establish dominance, in trying to fit in. It's peer pressure, it's a whole lot of stuff.
This is the Roberta Drive area where you can see remnants of the windshield of that vehicle those young men were sitting in. Now, CCTV footage showcased that as the shooting took place, those young men dispersed, some of them running into this property that stands right behind me. Now, one of the victim's cousins reaching out to Eyewitness News to speak exclusively about how her family is coping following his tragic death.
We trying, but the mother is not taking it well, and the brother is not, because the brother was actually there when it actually happened. It was going on Robinson Road, and then the lady was telling us that we can't go that way. So I was trying to figure out what happened. I asked her what vehicle was it that got shot, and she described the vehicle that my cousin then was driving. So I had to call my cousin, and when I called the youngest one and I could not reach him. I had to call the oldest one, and the oldest one break it down to me like, "Hey, my brother is dead. He got shot," and I just couldn't stop. At that point my phone just dropped down and I couldn't breathe, and I was like, I need to go home, and my aunt was to work, so I had to go and break it down to her. It was not a good feeling at all.
She states, following the shooting, the family feels fearful and are calling for the police to find the individuals responsible.
I mean, we're just praying that they actually find them, because it's never a good feeling to lose a family member, and especially a teenager, a baby. He was 19, and we just praying to God that they find the persons that was involved. We're just trying to stay vigilant, because you never know what people thinking. We don't know who was the target, who was in the target, so we just we just watching out because we're afraid for our life. We don't know who the person is or who the person's in is. We don't know what the motive behind all of this.
Investigations into the latest shooting remain ongoing. Delana Roker, Eyewitness News.
Now, police say they have 2 people in custody in connection with that shooting. In a statement, Prime Minister Philip Reid Davis condemned the killing, saying, while the police are making progress in driving down overall crime and choking off the supply of illegal firearms, there remain a few individuals determined to terrorize our streets. Men, he said, who have no regard for human life and at times are willing to shoot innocent people or those in the company or vicinity of their targets. Now, the Prime Minister also urged members of the public not to shelter those involved in criminal activity and says, as he says, rather, it helps them to destroy lives and neighborhoods. Strong words, but are they enough? Well, opposition leader Michael Pindart doesn't seem to think so. He says the government's approach is too reactive and that without targeted strategies, better intelligence and prevention programs, the violence will continue. Here's what he had to say.
To the family members of those perpetrators, the friends of those perpetrators, you have a role to play in making sure that they harm no one else. It may be very much safer for those of you that have pulled the trigger to be in custody than to be on the streets. We can never accept that this is normal for our society. I want to say from the outset, as I share from my heart the concerns that I have as a father when I hear young persons have perished, I want to say from my heart to the parents, to the loved ones of those that have lost their lives in these most recent incidents, that we extend our condolences. We are praying for you. We know that God.
Now, joining me now is community activist Dr. Carlos Reid. He's also a consultant in the Ministry of National Security. Welcome to the show, Mr. Reid.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now, we have a lot to unpack tonight. We'll start with the fact that you have been working with at-risk teens for years. Going back to the murder, the shootings, and the alleged high-speed chase that was going on the weekend, how does that make you feel, knowing that you've been working with young men in the community so long to help prevent these kinds of incidences?
You know, this is 30 years that I've been in the trenches working with young people, and I've never seen young people like this breed that we're seeing right now.
Meaning?
God has used me to mentor hundreds of young men that came from gangs that have turned their lives around and now living law productive lives here in the country. Mm-hmm. This generation here, we missed the mark with them. We destroyed the village that used to bring up kids. Okay. When we were coming up, anybody could say something to you, even tear up your hip, right? You know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And you dare not go home and tell your parents that the neighbors chastise you because you know you get another cut it. Mm-hmm. But we living in a time where we're growing up a bunch of sissies, where we feel that we have to go and defend them against everybody.
Okay.
Children today could tell their parents that the teacher don't like them. I couldn't do that when I was coming up. The teacher don't like me. You ain't going to school for the teacher to like you. And why the teacher don't like you? All them children in the school, why the teacher don't like you? And parents go into school now to chastise teachers. So teachers have told me, I don't even want to bother with some of these kids because I just want...
You don't have to deal
I just
with
want
the
to be able
parent
to go
coming to the
home.
school, right? You don't have to deal with the parent coming to the
No.
school to fight with you or to argue with you for disciplining their kid.
We've seen it all over the place. I just the other day, we had a graduation and you had parents out there fighting.
Saw the fight. Mm-hmm.
No, we live in a time where we got to become the change that we want to see. Everybody's saying the government need to do this, say the police need to do this. Let me tell you something, yeah? We got almost 600 persons that are before the courts right now charged with murder. You believe that?
I got to check
Oh,
those
but
stats.
I'm
now. I'm
telling
not
you,
sure about that.
about 600 that are before the court. So they're being put before the courts. One of the challenges that we have in this country is getting people to court in a reasonable amount of time.
Agreed.
So people talk about the bail act. Oh, we need to amend the bail act. The Constitution prevents you from amending the bail act because the Constitution states that a person must be brought to court on a reasonable amount of time.
Right.
Why? Because he is presumed innocent until proven
Agreed.
guilty. So you can't violate a person's constitutional right by locking him up forever.
I agree. You said a lot of different things there. Let's start from the beginning, and then we could just move our way, because that's a lot of different conversations. So we'll start with the fact that you said that these set of teenagers today are different from any other that you've seen. And I think that a lot of people could attest to that. They don't seem to be afraid of the police. They don't seem to be afraid of going to jail. Brazen daylight shootings that we've never seen. You know, it used to be a time when, you know, I had an issue with you, I would approach you and, you know, do what I had to do. But now it seems as though I have an issue with you. I don't care if you with your wife, your children, your mommy, I don't care if you in the house sleeping, whoever's in your vicinity is going to get what I have for you. What do you think, besides, I guess, not the community not raising these kids the same anymore, is the cause for these young boys mainly, not saying that the girls aren't doing it too, but mainly these young boys acting the way that they're acting?
We're growing up entitlement kids who feel that they're entitled, feel that this world owed them something. And to be honest, we got a lot of single parents now in this country.
Single mothers, let's be honest.
We got a lot of single mothers, even single fathers. We're doing these children a lot of injustice because we decide that we can do this how we want to do it and not the way God designed it to be done.
Okay.
God designed the family for a man and a woman to be able to bring up kids, not the woman trying to be man and woman, not the man trying to be woman and man. We've moved away from the tenets that God described for us, and the results is what we see in today. But let's fast track from that. When I say these kids are growing up to be entitled, we get them everything what they need. I saw this young man at the beginning of the school year. He had on brand new clocks, cost, he say, $180-something. He had on Tommy pants, polo shade. He had on I think it was land belt. He had the Kipling bag, not a bag exchange, right? But he had about almost $500 on. And inside the bag, all he had was a brush.
You gotta make sure you stay clean.
To brush the shoes. That's it. You see what I'm saying? So I asked him, where the bucks? They're not going to school to line no more. They're going to school to floss. They're going to school to model.
Okay.
Because this is what we are growing. We are building this. You can't build something then expect it to act different from what you built.
So let me ask you something. You said that kids are entitled. How can parents who also feel entitled, because a lot of people could say that Bahamians feel entitled. They feel like they're empty, the government must do everything for them. So how do you expect those people to be able to raise kids who also don't feel the exact same way?
Very good point. And this why we got to go back to what is programming these kids. We say that the onus should be on the family. I agree, right? But let's be honest. The family system is eroded. The best opportunity we have to break this cycle that we see with young people right now is our school system. Why? Because we got them for 8 hours uninterrupted.
I would agree to you to an extent because the classes are overcrowded now.
Exactly.
So it's hard for one teacher to be able to teach 60 kids just in one class, be able to pay attention to everyone's needs, know who has learning disabilities, know who needs that special attention, and still be able to focus on the entire class.
I agree. This is why you need systems. Systems with principles. An army of principles will penetrate where an army of soldiers cannot, and it will conquer. We have to go back to basics. We did the shock treatment session. And after the shock treatment, we do them jailhouse haircuts. And then before we send them home, we got to go and correct it. So we got everything down low. So one of the fellas decided that he wasn't going to go to school. But his hair had already started growing back. So I asked him why. He said, if I go to school, everybody can think I'm a little sissy. So we have this suspension center down at the Hope Center. God spoke to me. He said, go in the back and watch, see how the other fellas wearing their hair. Everybody got the mop on top of their head. I call it the mop look, but everybody got that, right? And so I started out the conversation because if you want to understand the problem, you got to go and talk to where the problem is.
You got to talk to the kids.
So they now feel that if the hair is low, like where you had the wave a couple years ago, that you soft.
Really?
Yeah, that you's a sissy. So I can't rock that. I got to rock this sponge look, right? So in doing that, with the fellas that was standing up, right? And we was having this conversation. This one fella, he keep moving, he keep fringing. So I asked him, why you fringing? He say, his shoe was hitting his feet. Now this fella just had, you could see it was a brand new pair of Air Force on, right? So I said, well, why you didn't buy your size? Here's what he told me. I don't want my people to think my foot big. So everything is about what people think.
Okay. Now I got to the point because I was trying to figure out where it was going.
Even with the retaliation, it's because what people think. You can let him get away with that. You can let her get away with that. Everything is we let's call it like it is. We in a stage where these brothers just like man. We so busy to trying to to build
impress
face,
other men,
right? That we don't care what it can cost us. Let's look at broad daylight. When we was coming up, we had an issue with you. We wait till night come. Nowadays, these brothers, they don't care. They lie. They coming at you because they don't care. They won't be able to save face. One of the biggest challenges and one that could constitute to what happened on Sunday, a lot of these murders that we see in our country, they originated in the school. But because these kids were not taught how to resolve their issues,
resolve conflicts,
then they feel that they got to save face and by any means necessary.
Is that why you think because even just looking at the video, but even if you take away what happened on Saturday, if you read the papers, the people getting charged before the courts with murder, attempted murder, assault, having weapons, 15, 16, 17, 18. These are young boys. I don't remember, I'm adult, but I don't remember growing up and the boys my age was involved in that kind of stuff. They was chasing after girls and playing parking in the road and stuff. But is that why you think that the ages are getting younger because the conflicts are starting in the schools?
Exactly. Our schools are laboratories. I bought some blocks. I was building this building. And each one of the blocks had a little chip in the same spot. And I got curious, why all these blocks get this little gush? Then I realized that the mold that was making the block was dented. So when we see all of these things happen, we got to go back to the mold that is shaping our young people now. And that's why I say, wait, we got to fix our school system.
So you think it starts with the
school
school
system have to now incorporate conflict resolution
Agreed.
and anger management. And I say anger management with a passion. Our people are angry and not just young people. All over Facebook, you see people, they row and cussing up one another, women fighting in the road. So it's not just young people. This is a culture, and we have to fix this culture. So my suggestion to this nation is, sometimes you got to cut your losses and say, something, we messed up with this.
Okay.
But let's get it right. Let's go back to the primary school. Let's bring back manners and respect. If we say this is what a schoolboy haircut is supposed to be, this is what the schoolboy haircut can be. If we say this is how the uniform's supposed to be, this how the uniform's supposed to be. Today our brothers, they wearing these pants and they can't walk. They look like tornado.
They are very
You know
tight.
what I mean?
They're tight.
And the shirt look like their little brother's shirt. They can't even stay inside the pants. We have to establish law and order, because if these kids can't follow rules in school, how in Jesus' name you can expect them to come out of school and follow the laws?
Okay, we got to put a pin in that. They're playing the music. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
Hey guys! The IL Cares Foundation invites you to our Back to School giveaway on August 23rd at the University of the Bahamas, Poinciana Drive entrance. Join us for a day of free school supplies, food, and fun as we help prepare students for a successful school year. We are also going to be on the Family Islands on August 23rd from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. All are welcome! So come on down and support the community with IL Cares. At IL Cares, we care.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're talking crime. I'm here with my guest, Dr. Carlos Reid, who is a community activist. We all know that, but he's also a consultant in the Ministry of National Security. And we left off talking about education, but I was reading the comments during the break, and someone made a very good point. They said that a lot of these kids feel like they don't have opportunities in the schools. You know, I know now is BJC time, BGCSE time. We're about to get the results real soon. I know some schools have already started to get the results, and we're gonna hear this again. The average is a D. The children, and then the people are gonna start, the children are dumb. Everybody getting Fs. The kids don't feel like there's any opportunity for them. If they're in school and they're getting all Fs because they're forced to take all these classes that they don't understand about, of course they're gonna turn to a life of crime to support themselves because that's all that they know. How do we empower these kids beyond the grades in the school to make them feel like there is hope for them as adults?
I took this young man that came through shock treatment underneath my wing. My daughter took him on like a big brother. Everything that he wants, whether he wants uniform or whatever, we make sure that he has that. He gets the love that he needs. He's in church every Sunday. But he still feels the need to link up with these quote-unquote gangs. See, everything is about image when it comes to these young people. Everything is about what people think. I went into JHS, did a awesome assembly one morning. Everybody was blown away. And then after assembly, the PR people in the school, they wanted me to take some picture with the kids. Now, normally when this happens, all the kids, they fighting to take pictures. But on this particular morning, nobody wanted to take picture. Because one fella say he don't have the white line on his shaper. And he don't want nobody like to talk with him when he get on Facebook. And they were running for they don't want nobody to talk about them.
So you think a lot of this just goes back to, and for lack of a better term, I'm just going to repeat what you say, like in man. They want to look good in front of their friends. They don't want anybody to make them look bad.
It comes down to self-esteem. And that's why I say we got to start building the type of citizens that we want for this country. We got to build men that are prepared for when they reach out of school, they could be able to take care of their family.
But how do we do that if the dads are not in the home, if men are not in the homes?
We got to go back to basics. We got to create this village concept back around our kids, because this is what made some of us who we are today. Not because we had parents that was there all the time. In some cases, our parents had to go to work, but the neighbor took care of us. Nowadays, but you can't say nothing to nobody children. You can't touch nobody children. We got to bring like the neighborhoods back where the neighborhoods are family again.
I know that's easy to say and it sounds very good, but I think a lot of parents are also very protective of their kids now, because sometimes the neighbor could be doing stuff to your kids that you wouldn't want them to do. Or sometimes the neighbor's kids are bad, so you don't want your kids around the neighbor's kids. You got to be careful of the neighbors too. You don't know who to trust anymore around your children.
I agree. And it's not just neighbors now, it's family.
Family too.
You remember when we were growing up, everybody used to meet by Grammy House. Mm-hmm. So we go from school and we reach by Mama house. Nowadays, like the grandmothers, they so young, they telling the children, "Wait, don't bring no children here. I done grow you all up." You know, so we got to bring this concept. We got to bring this love back, man. You see what I'm saying? Because some parents, they doing the best of what they could. One mother said, "I got to try put food on the table." So she works 2 jobs. Mm-hmm. So she have to decide whether the children can eat or whether she gonna work. So she leaves the children home in the night and she goes on the job.
You gotta do it. Who else?
Because when you look at like what rent costs, what light bill, and to feed these children nowadays, these children them days eat like us. So she has to decide where I'm gonna put this time into this child or provide for the child. And that's a lot. And this is why the village got to come back, where we could be able to help each other out.
Okay, so we've touched on what the family could do. We need to reach out more. Men need to be more present in the homes. Now that is a whole different conversation that we can have. But also there are things that the government can do. There are things with the judicial system. You know, a lot of people were calling for, because we don't manufacture guns here. They're coming in somehow. We obviously have an issue with getting them in here, with stopping from getting them in here. We have a border control issue. I know the Defense Force is stretched with everything else, but we do have an issue with guns and bullets, ammunition coming into the country. Those high-powered weapons that were used in the murder, as well as the high-powered weapon that police took for those 3 young boys, should have never been in this country in the first place. So people are calling now for tougher laws. As soon as you get caught with one of them, 15, 20 years in jail.
I agree. I agree that we need tougher laws, particularly with ammunition and guns weapons like that, right? But Tugs and Cakers, I just did a seminar for them about a year ago. They bought tougher laws. Mandatory 15 years if you get fined with a gun. That's not even the high power.
Yeah, we need it.
But last time I checked, I think it was about a week ago, Turks and Caicos had 25 murders. They have 40,000 people. If they had the 400,000 people that we had, that would have been 250 basic murders, even with the tougher. So it's one thing to bring the tougher, and I agree that we need tougher laws, but we need systematic things that work along with it.
I agree.
Like, for instance, we got to find a way how we clear the dockets in the court.
Agreed.
So when a person is charged, they don't have to wait 3-5 years, because a lot of these brothers getting killed, 2 of these brothers got killed, they are on monitors. So they will be before the courts. We have to find ways how we get these persons to get their due date in court at a reasonable amount of time.
I agree.
So we got to spend whatever resources we need. Get the magistrates, get the justice, and open up some courts, even if they have to be night courts. I went to court one day to go with a young fella, and the little things, we cloud up the magistrate court with, but they need to be in like family court. How you can have somebody clogging up where they thieving cheese doodle out or selling connect downtown? We need we could get retired justice of the peace. We could get pastors where we do night court for them little things, sharp break-in and all them things. They don't need to be inside the magistrate. So the magistrate now clear up some of the dockets so they deal with some of these cases now where they could fast track. Now the government of the Bahamas decided that they want to do some voluntary bill of indictment and some plea deals. And doing plea deals, right, you can upset some people.
I am very upset by some of these plea deals I've been reading in the paper.
But see, if a person is going to plead, the deal got to be sweet, or the fella going to say, well, I might as well
I agree, but
take
I
my
also
time
feel like
in
some
court.
people should not get plea deals.
I agree. I agree with it.
Some people
right? But
shouldn't
see,
get.
desperate times require desperate measures.
Okay.
The reality is we got about almost 600 cases of persons that have been charged before our courts with murders. Now, some of them have died, so I have not gotten the updated number as yet, but we got too much that are waiting trials. So we now have to avoid this judiciary where we clear those dockets. So if you get charged today, next couple of months, bro, you inside court.
But that's
now
not
we
how,
did
that's
it with
not
the
how
gun
it
court.
works. Well,
we did it with the gun
originally-
court. Now, because now the gun court, well, you could get charged right away. Because the gun court deals solely just with guns.
But I mean, it sounds good to say, and this is what I was trying to explain to people, you know, as mad as we want to be, we could catch these people on camera face doing what they're doing. At the end of the day, they're still presumed innocent until proven guilty. And they have to have their day in court. We can't just say, okay, they were charged today and convicted tomorrow and they go to jail. The problem is, like what you were saying, is it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You cannot hold somebody in prison as much as you may want to 4, 6 years awaiting trial. So now what happens? They're out on bail. And 2 things police will tell you all the time either happen. Now, mind you probably have the 1 or 2 who are good, productive citizens when they get out on bail. But then you also have the ones who either go back to the life of crime or they end up being victims themselves because you kill my brother allegedly, or you get charged for that, and now you out and you walking up and down. Now I gotta go do what I gotta do for revenge for my family because the police and the court system is taking too long.
What if I was to tell you that a lot of the killings that we have on our street are not necessarily gang killings, but in some cases they are actually law-abiding citizens who don't feel that they got justice and they feel that they need to take
matters
into their own
I actually
hands.
read a story in the paper today with a guy said that he shot these 2 men because he feels as though they sexually assaulted his niece and nothing got away with, and they got away with it. And that's why he did what he did. Now, I don't know if it's true, but I'm just saying that I've read stories like what you're talking about people who just take matters in their own hands. Not that it's right, and it's obviously not the thing to do, but it's very hard to tell someone be cool or not to do something when you see the person walking around having a life when your loved one is 6 feet under.
Let me show you what I'm talking about with the judiciary. In 2022, there was 101 persons charged with murder. Only 5 of them got sentenced. 96% of them were held on remand. 81% of the sentenced inmates received 1 year or less. Slow justice fuels retaliatory killings.
Agreed. Police have said it many times.
We have to, whatever we do, we got to fix that. We have a plan in place to fix the jail. Why? Because the recidivist rate is about around 71% now. That means that 7 out of every 10 that go to prison going to end up going back. So the prison is now reforming itself into a correction facility.
Yeah, they don't call it prison anymore.
We are correcting mindset. A lot of persons that are in prison are now doing courses at BTVI. They becoming qualified, so when they reach out of BDOCs, they could be able to embrace a life and get on with their lives. And this is where we have to get. We got to get to reformative justice and not just locking people up. Because these persons that we send to prison, they come back out. And we got to make sure that we don't create some monsters that we don't want to deal with when they come out. So we got to do the investment, and we got to invest into these persons to make sure that they're ready to re-enter society. I got this firm belief. We got somebody in prison for 10 years. Why they can't come out with a degree and you ain't got nothing to do? No, we fixing that. So a number of persons have been studying from BDOCs now in the Canadian criminal justice system, the prison system, because their model is basically one of the best models. It's even better than the United States. So I believe some good things about to happen down at BDOCs. Not only that, we're getting ready to unroll a program which I believe that's going to help us.
Which is?
Right now, as it stands, if you go to prison, you get 3 months off for good behavior. But there's nothing over your head to make sure that you stay good when you come out. So the parole system that is about to be released real soon, it's going to be implemented real soon.
Okay.
It's going to hold that over your head. You don't get no time off. You could come out on parole, right? But if you violate the rules that govern the parole, then you get all your time back.
Yeah, like how they do it in the States.
In the States.
Yeah.
So now they're going to have people that's going to be checking on you, making sure you're home on time, making sure you get job, you go to church, all of these different things.
Now, let me ask you something now. A lot of these people and a lot of judges have said it, and a lot of people have said it. Sometimes people feel like they're safer in jail. Do you think a parole system here where somebody gets to get out of prison before spending their allotted time will work with the way that we have, quote unquote, revenge killings in this country?
See, everybody that go to prison don't go for killing. I believe that it's a better chance for us to be able to correct behaviors when it's not overpopulated. Okay. Right now, the way the prison is overpopulated. It wasn't built for what it is right now. So in a lot of cases, they are forced to put 5 persons inside a 5 by 10 cell. That can't work. That don't change mindsets.
So the parole
we to a point in this country where mindsets have to be changed. If mindsets don't change, then behaviors stay the same.
So the parole would be for non-violent criminals?
I can't say that it's for non-violent, but I believe that most of it is like you apply for parole. Okay. You go before a parole board. The parole board then bring you, even if you are accused of killing somebody's loved ones, they got to hear from the family and all of that stuff first. So I believe that it's a step in the right direction. I believe it's going to help like our system that now the overcrowding that's at BDOCs right now, that's going to alleviate some of that, and it's going to help to shape mindsets.
All right. Well, I guess you heard it first here. Parole coming soon. We're going to take a break. They're playing the music. When we come back, we're going to wrap up this conversation with Dr. Carlos Reid. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after.
As we continue to develop the orange economy of the Bahamas and empower our artists and artisans, we as a government intend to show tangible support. We are therefore requesting our Bahamian artists and artisans to submit images of their handmade, authentically made Bahamian products and prices as we move to produce a live digital booklet with Bahamian-made works. With the creation of a live booklet, artisans can always submit new works to be included. It is our intent to use this book as a catalog for the purchase of items by all senior government officials for gifts, display items, and the like. Ministers, permanent secretaries, members of parliament, and ambassadors will be supporting our orange economy by the purchase of items and in sharing this book to the wider global creative community. We are committed to grow and expand the orange economy of the Bahamas.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back. We're continuing our conversation with Dr. Carlos Reid. We left off talking about parole, but we were talking about something during the break, and I want to ask you that, for the audience. Talking about rehabilitation is good. Talking about parole is good. Talking about the judiciary is good, and all the changes that need to be made. But what can we do now with these kids right now? Is there hope for these 15, 16, 17-year-old kids out there now?
We didn't get here overnight, and we ain't gonna get out of this overnight. When we look at like murders back in 1963, right, we had 5 murders. That grew and grew until inside the 2010, we started to have 94 murders. And then we move on to 127, then 111, then 119, and we've been averaging over 100 since then.
We're at 55 now.
So even though we want a quick fix, this ain't gonna happen like that. You can have to do in stages. So we have to accept the fact that we dropped the ball. We dropped the ball. We dropped the ball for years now, from 2010. I remember when I went to school and I studied over the National Gang and Crime Research Center of America. And I came back to the Bahamas and I told the people here, look, we got a problem. If we don't fix this problem, but the rooster coming home to roost. The people say I was talking out of my head. We ain't got no gang problem. But we saw this before it actually happened. Now, we can't live back in the past. We got to say, something. If we keep on thinking the way we always thought, then we keep on getting what we always got. If we want to get something different, then we got to do something different. If we want to get something that we never had before, then we got to do something that we never did. And what we have never done over from 2011 is go back to basics, where we make sure that from primary school, we grow these kids up where they have manners and respect. When they walk in a room, you don't have to tell them to say good morning or good afternoon. They grow up with that. So we got to go back to that military concept. And so Lyndon had it years ago, and some people don't like it. But we need national service. But national service can't be just for like Pookie them down in the hood.
For everybody.
For everybody. It has to be a national program where regardless of what it is, you can give back to this country because this country given to you.
Now, I don't know if I believe in national service for everybody, but I do believe that if you are not working and if you are not in school, then maybe you should be a part of the program.
Nah, then
but I don't feel like national service is for everybody.
See, right now in school, and I think this is a good thing in the school, so you got to give them props for it. Before you graduate, you got to put in community hours, community service. And I think that's basically what national service is, that you got to give back to your country something. And what this does is build national pride. My father is from Jamaica. Jamaicans are prideful people. They don't have as much as what Bahamians have, but they're prideful. Why? Because that's instilled in them. They wear those colors proud.
I am sure I following you with the national service. I get what you're trying to say because I do feel like a lot of the reasons that we have a lot of the issues is because a lot of our kids do not have anything to do when they come out of school because a lot of them are not graduating. They get these certificates. They're not hireable. You know, a lot of jobs are not hiring them. I know we have the national training program and we have all these other stuff, but a lot of these kids do not have jobs when they come out of school. It is what it is.
And let me tell you, let me let another cat out the bag and what the government is looking at doing now. Turning Shaw into a boarding school where you don't behave yourself. You get in a boarding school. You gotta.
Isn't that what the boys' industrial school is supposed to be?
Yeah, but then that's for persons with sentence. We're talking with people with challenge.
Okay, so you have to have been committed crime to go there.
In 1977, I got kicked out of St. John's College. Father Strawn one day decided the school was too small for two principals. So since he was getting paid, I had to go.
You had to go.
I went to FRD, got kicked out of that. In order for me to graduate from school, my mom sent me to a military school. It's high time now that we bring that concept to the Bahamas.
Now that I do agree with.
That is needed. Where when these parents can't control certain kids, where you go into this military school. And we need two stages of that. One needs to be down on Gladstone Road by the Shaw facility now, and the next one needs to be down in Inagua. You're going to go help build a military base down there. So here's the process. You're going to learn construction while you build it. So we're preparing you while adjusting you.
Okay.
So you're going to learn plumbing, electrical, whatever it is, you're going to learn something. But we can be able to shape your mind because you're going to be surrounded by all of the distraction. The only thing you can see is some of them big mosquitoes when they get down there.
So currently we do not have any type of school or program here for young boys or young girls whose parents just cannot control them.
We have Shaw, it's the closest to it, but you go to school and comes from recommendation from the school itself.
Okay.
That when you already had so much infractions that they recommend that you go to Shaw. But what we're talking about is a school that when parents can't control you, like right now with our Shaw treatment program, I got about 20-something parents right now who are going through hell. I'm talking about with kids with punching their mommy down, drop kicking their mommy. This kind of behavior what we got. And we got to be able to meet that energy, man.
How is the shock treatment program going?
I think it's going well, and like anything else, we have looked at what we have been doing and seeing ways how we could adjust it to be able to get better results. I just had a young man, we just had a young man that graduated from police college that came through shock treatment. We had a young lady that came through shock treatment. We got persons on the defense force. I have a young man that is now assistant manager at the Bank of Nova Scotia that came through shock treatment. So many places that are doing good. But we got better results. And that's what we're looking at now. We always have to be looking at how do we get better at doing what we're doing. We didn't just reach it overnight, but we got to bring the right minds around the table. And we got to continue to come up with good solutions, good programs that meet us where we are, not what somebody else is doing. What we get brand is for us. How do we teach people what it means to be a Bahamian, what it means to be a father in a home? We got a lot of brothers right now that are daddies but don't know what it is to be fathers. Don't take care of their children, don't do nothing when they come to taking care of their children. The only thing they want to do is to brag to their friends about how much baby they got. But let me tell you something, you're watching me. Take care of your children, yeah? Take care of your children. If you don't take care of your children, but you worse than an infidel, what God say. You can't just continue to bring these children in this world and don't take care of them. Take care of your children, man. Don't put no hurricane on the rest of us to have to deal with.
Agreed. And you know, we didn't get a chance to touch on it, but I do think that that's one of the another big problem that we have is that we just don't have men in the house. They're just not there. They're just not raising these kids. And you know, moms they do their best, but you know, a man has to teach a man how to be a man.
And in some cases, the mother's running these brothers, man.
Okay,
I know a number of brothers right now that want to be in their child's life, but the mother, she just bring a whole heap of drama when they go to see their children.
Yeah, but
and
you
women, let me say this to the women too.
Oh,
See,
geez,
because we always jumping on the fellas.
Okay, you go there.
Ladies, let me tell you something, right? If a brother inside his child life, whether you all make it or not, don't rob that child out of the opportunity to have their father. Let that man be inside his child's life. Not because he gone go get a next woman you feel now that he can't be a part of his child. Like, let that brother, that's his child. That's his child. Stop doing that stupid and stop running good men out of the lives of their children. And brothers, if you ain't taking your children, man, take care of your children.
Okay. I agree. I feel like it really does start in the home. It really does. And I don't know what we're going to do. We talked about a lot of things here, a lot of different ways that we can move forward. It's almost time for us to go. I'll give you a synopsis. You get to wrap up. What would you like the public to know? Or, you know, yeah, I'll give you time to wrap up.
Let me say this to parents that are having challenge with their kids. Find something to get your kids involved in, whether it's basketball, baseball, swimming, track. Get them involved in something. Get them there. See, sports gives us an opportunity to bring that village back around the child. Get them involved in something. Statistics will show you that kids that are involved in organized sports are less likely to get involved in problem. So get your kids involved in something, not what you want. Find out what their interest is. Don't see the Bible say children are like arrows in the quiver. We're supposed to shoot them in the direction. We don't determine where they land. But we got to be able to create or start fathering, mothering, parenting with a purpose.
Okay. That's it? You done?
I'm done.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I wish we had some more time because we still didn't get to unpack everything. But obviously, I just don't even know what to say. Crime is just out of control. Hopefully government has some solutions. Hopefully parents will turn their kids in like the police keep saying, like the Prime Minister just said.
Really?
That's
These
what they
children,
keep
but
saying,
they got
turn
children,
the parents in,
they
the
can turn them in?
Yeah, turn them in. You got to turn them in because now what
I
happened
wish they would, but we live in a society that don't.
I'm too scared to have somebody in my house like that. I can't protect you and then
Your
people
little
come and they kill me.
See, look, let me tell you something. When these children them arcing out outside, they ain't that way home, you know.
Now you know when your kids. Now you know when your kids bad.
My mommy thought I was the bestest child ever. You know what my mommy used to tell me? Carlos, stay from around them bad children. But I never used to hang with. I was the bad one.
Oh jeez.
But when I was around like the adults, I was the most manly, good person. Even my teachers love me.
So you think these parents don't know?
I believe some of them is no, but these children today, they sharp. Let's look at some of the criminals what we get right now. They could find the people who they want when the police can't find them.
You know what? They're playing this music louder and louder. It's time for us to go. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow. I'm Francesca Brown. Have a great evening.